rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Why? It's because the rich think about wealth and affluence all the time. And what do the poor think about? The poor think about lack, loss, and limitation, risk, danger, fear, failure.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Fortitude Investing channel. Super sorry about not being able to upload these past few days. Life has just been kind of crazy. Moved into my new apartment. It's just been kind of a whirlwind. I haven't had a lot of time to kind of sit down and make some videos, so I just kind of wanted to just get that out there. That's part of the reason why. But over this past weekend and on Monday, we kind of saw quite a bit of price manipulation. I think XRP and Bitcoin kind of touched down into that 114,000 and XRP below $3. Super funny because the amount of manipulation on the charts, that was basically where all of the longs were. And it touched right at that $2.97. And I mean, it was all across the market, but liquidated basically every single long that was made. Just wanted to put that out there. David Schwartz came out and posted the other day, kind of just talking a little bit about the XRP ledger and just kind of the future of what it was going to do. He talked a little bit about just liquidity and market cap. I just wanted to give a little bit of a different perspective here. I think that a really good way to be able to build up the liquidity needed for the XRP ledger would be through the ETFs, and not just the futures, but the spot ETFs. It's added liquidity through institutions to be able to raise that price and also add the on-demand liquidity. I think that's probably going to be the best way for XRP to kind of take it to the next level before it's ready to, integrate to mainstream finance, which it already is, but, in the forefront of everybody's day-to-day life. I do think that there was a lot of good things that David said, and I think it doesn't always have to do with market cap, but market cap does mean higher liquidity. So the more transfers at higher dollar amounts, that it doesn't push the price up a ton or down a ton. But I do think that the ETFs give it a way for traditional finance to, it kind of welcomes them into the market. And there's a huge demand for XRP, the same way that it was for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also, I do think that the acquisition of Hidden Road that Ripple had purchased will also help with liquidity. I think, again, it's not always just stored up, built up liquidity, but more or less the flow of liquidity through the XRP ledger, to where if it's a few $1 billion of transfers, every, hour, that it doesn't make the price go up 2 or 3%, down 2 or 3%, up 5%, down 5%, where it's more of a stability thing. That's where the market cap and the liquidity comes into effect. But a lot of this, it's just simple math. You just have to look at it mathematical. If you have $100 million in market cap and somebody, sends a transfer of 50 million, that's going to move the market quite a bit, So a lot of this is you got to think about how XRP is going to be used and the amount of liquidity that will be transferred each day. Also, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the bear market, especially, towards the end of this year, or even going into next year. I want to get this off my chest as well. A bear market now with institutional adoption does not mean a 50 to 80% drop. It doesn't mean that from Bitcoin at 100,000 going back down to 20,000. I don't think that's exactly, what it is. I do think you're going to get a lot of, good pumps at certain times of the year or certain integration, and then you may see some corrections and some ranging, but I don't necessarily think that you're going to see the bear markets that we have seen in the past. A lot of that being speculation, buy the rumor, sell the news. I think a lot more of this is going to be, if there is what you might call a bear market, that it doesn't tank 100%. It may only drop, say it's only 15 to 20% for 6 to 8 months. You get the point. Obviously, cannot control the black swan events, but you hope that they don't come. So, again, when we say bear market, it doesn't necessarily have to mean what bear market and cycles have been in the past. When you have institutional adoption and ETFs, and it's more of a mainstream everyday use platform, I don't think you can see those ginormous dips. So yeah, make sure you guys are taking profits when you feel like it is necessary. I will be taking some profits for the simple fact of I would like to take some money off the top for some business. This is what we're in it for, is to make money. I will say that, in the bull markets, take your profits. In the bear markets is where we build our wealth. So don't be afraid to take a little bit of profit. And everybody has their own opinion of how they want to do it. That's great. My perspective and what I am doing is my profits are going to business and to Bitcoin. So I'm using altcoins as a way to make and generate cash flow and pour them into Bitcoin and business. So again, this is just the way that I want to do it. That's the way that, I feel like I can personally make some money, but that, it's different for everybody. So just keep in mind that when I say I'm taking profit, it's not because I'm going out and buying a car or buying a house, stupid stuff like that. It's to create more wealth. Money goes where it's welcome. And creating cash flow is incredibly, incredibly important. So, sorry for not uploading these past few days. Again, life just kind of kicks you in the butt sometimes. So, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go touch some grass, hug a family member, tell them, I love you. Yeah, have a good day. Thanks for stopping by and listening. Give me a little bit of your time. See ya.